Thank you all so much for joining this First Principles webinar today. Keywords are an absolute foundation for any successful digital marketing campaign, be it SEO or performance campaign. The wrong keywords will bring the wrong audience to this. So we need to choose the right keywords for the right intent and the right audience. But choosing the keywords itself is a different story. It also depends on your product or your service that you're offering. So for an e-commerce business, the keywords are going to be different from a service-based business, and which is going to be very different for a SaaS product. So Pushkar, who is our digital marketing manager at First Principles, has over 15 years more than a decade in digital marketing. So how keyword strategy is to be done for SaaS businesses and done from scratch, and how it is different from, say, doing a keyword strategy for an e-commerce site or for a service. At the end, after the webinar, there'll be a 15-minute Q&A session where Pushkar will answer any queries you have. So if you want to note down all the questions in the chat box, we'll answer them one by one during the question and answer session. Over to you, Pushkar.
Thank you, Padmaja, for those superlatives. Thank you. My name is Pushkar Sinha. As Padmaja mentioned, I am the digital marketing manager with First Principles. And today I'm going to talk about keyword research from scratch for B2B SaaS business. The idea here is to present more about the strategy of how to do keyword research and not getting too much into the specifics of keyword research. Today I'll be breezing through the slides that I think we'll be sharing later on. Later we'll be covering a small walkthrough of the keyword research process through a template. All right, I think let's begin. Okay, what exactly is a keyword? Keyword basically is a search term, search query that we use on a Google. It can be on a Bing, it can be on a YouTube as well, it can be on Facebook as well. So keyword basically is a search term that we basically use. Basically, people are using keywords in a search engine to search for something specific. Now let's try and understand what is keyword research. Keyword research is basically, it helps to find right keywords that people are using them in a search engine. These are the search terms, search queries. These research keywords basically help in planning a digital marketing campaign. Now, digital marketing campaign could be a SEO campaign, it can be a paid marketing campaign. The keyword research helps basically in identifying the keywords. Once the keywords have been identified, it helps in targeting the right content for those keywords. We'll dig more deeper into this and try and understand how keywords help and what we need to do in terms of finding the right keywords, and I'll try and explain the basics, and as I know we have a mixed audience, and I'll try and encompass as many people as I can, so that everybody who are at the beginning level should be able to understand, and who are at the advanced level should be able to get something out of this webinar. Now, to go more deeper into the keyword research, we need to understand there are a lot of myths, a lot of things which goes around keyword research. Like, do keywords really matter these days? That's a question that a lot of people really matter these days. Yes, keyword definitely matter. Am I audible, Padmaja?
Yes, you are. Yeah.
Okay. Definitely keywords really matter these days, because keywords have been important earlier and still are important, because keywords helps us in basically identifying the pages, identifying the search terms which people are basically looking for, and based on that, we try and ensure that okay, these are this particular search term, and this is the content we are going to create for these search terms. So that's why the keywords are really important. And is keyword research a one-time activity? No, because the fact is 15% of Google searches every day are unique, right? Out of those trillion searches which are happening every day, 15% of the Google searches are unique and new, never been searched, which means that a lot of new keywords are basically, a lot of new search terms are being used, and that basically opens up a lot of work for an SEO guy to basically start working on. Does tool provide complete solution for keyword research? No, because the best thing which works for keyword research is our common sense. Once we develop, once we understand a keyword, once we understand the requirements, we brainstorm, and then we work on a list of keywords that can be targeted, and based on that we basically come up with a lot of broad keywords, which I'll try and explain the difference between broad, long tail, exact, and then these keywords, and these broad terms, once we have completed a list, finalized a list, then tool basically helps us to expand those broad keywords. That's why tool is something that is not, that's really something which completes the keyword research. Now let me come back to the thing which I just mentioned. What is a broad keyword? What is an exact keyword? Broad keyword is something which can be a one word, it can be a two word, but for example, the keyword which is mentioned here, like road mapping process. Now, if we use this keyword, this is not highlighting the intent for a audience to buy anything. It's the intent is a very broad intent, wherein it's talking about the road mapping process rather than the buying intent here. So this is broad, but even in a broad, even in a broad, there can be a buying intent. Let me give you an example. Let's say there is a, yeah, can you go back please? Yeah, let's say there is a keyword birthday cake. Now birthday cake is informational because somebody is looking for birthday cake, right? It can be anything. But if the moment it says buy order cake, right, it's a short tail, broad, but again there is slight buying intent in it. So we need to measure with respect to broad and exact, and then create understand whether it's informational or buying intent, right? So that's how we need to understand. Now looking at this, long tail is something is exact, wherein the intent may not be buy, but it is exactly saying road mapping tool for planning products with Kanban. This is completely exact, right? It may or may not be having the buying intent, but yes, the information, even if it is informational, it is really exact and more suited for the SaaS business. Yeah, can we go to the next screen? Yeah, thank you. Now let's look at the search volume for the type of keywords, right? So for example, we have short tail, we have medium tail, we have long tail. Now the search demand for short tail, it says the search volume is huge for short tail keywords, right? So it doesn't mean that any keyword which has a huge search volume is going to be beneficial for us, right? So a short tail keyword having 70% of volume is still not beneficial, right? So we need to work on the 10% of it, right? So there is a flip side to it. Let's move on to the next screen and see the flip side of this particular thing. Yeah. So the moment we see the demand in terms of the number of keywords, now long tail, 70% long tail keywords are basically the number of keywords which is being used or searched as long tail keywords. So remaining are short tail. The number of keywords used is lesser in short tail, but yes, the volume is greater. But we are not looking at the volume. Volume doesn't mean it's going to be, a business keyword, or a buying keyword, or a transactional keyword, right? What we are looking at, the long tail keywords, right? Now let's look at the advantages of keyword research. The major advantage that keyword research has: SEO, because SEO helps in providing the inbound traffic, is the most important uh, you know uh, inbound traffic mechanism, a marketing technique. The other is, once we have the list of keywords that we need to work with, we basically can plan our PPC and paid advertising campaign based on the keyword research that we have done. So keyword research is extremely important when we are planning our SEO campaigns, and also when we are planning our paid marketing campaigns. Now, looking at the third option, once we have decided our keywords, it helps us to develop new content. Content ideation is possible, and thereafter, it helps us in planning a content clustering. Now, this content clustering is something, for example, we can branch out and divide the topics with respect to the keywords. For example, if we have a keyword, uh, say A, it can be, divided into A1, A2, A3, and so forth. So these are the basic advantages of a keyword research. Now we need to understand this particular thing, how exactly we are going to search for keywords. What exactly we need to do? The first and foremost thing is brainstorming. How do we brainstorm? We just need to, take a paper, start, have a discussion with either the website owner, or have a team discussion, and start writing all the keywords that comes to our mind, or comes after the discussion. The idea here is to write as many keywords as possible on paper, or in any sheet, right? So once we have done that, that's the basic starting point. So the idea here is to create a list of seed keywords. So what we should do is, when we are brainstorming, or any of the activities mentioned here, to start adding more keywords in the seed list. Now, looking at the second option, that's my favorite option, competition. Now we can go to the competition sites, see what exactly is on their pages, titles, and meta descriptions, what keywords they're targeting. That's the easiest thing to do, right? So that's the ready-made option that we get while, reviewing and basically, uh, identifying the keywords through the competition. That's the second option. Now there are two ways we can do populate keyword data. One, by looking at the Google data. Second, by looking at the non-Google data. Now Google data, we can use Google Keyword Planner, we can use Search Console. And now it depends at what stage the website is in. If the website is at the initial level, beginning stages, we can definitely use Keyword Planner. If it's already, the website is live and going, then we can definitely start working with Search Console. Then Google Auto Suggestion is one more option, but there are certain limitations when we rely too much on Keyword Planner. A Keyword Planner is something that's prominently used to, search or identify keywords for Google Ads. Now in Google Ads, the thing is, yeah, thank you, Padmaja. Yeah, in Google Ads, we get the keywords where people are bidding on those keywords. Now we get a list of keywords where there is a bidding data available to Google, and that's what Google is giving to us. We're not getting any new keywords. So that's where, when you start using non-Google data, or tools which are like paid or free tools, you get much more number of a bigger number of keywords as compared to Google Keyword Planner, which is in Google Ads. Tools like Uber Suggest, Keywords Anywhere. I think Keywords Anywhere everywhere is basically a Chrome plugin that can be used. And then use paid tools like Ahrefs, SEMrush. They are the good tools to identify uh, or basically expand your broad keywords. So once you have identified your broad, you want to explore more and find out more exact, and even in exact you want to explore more on the information side, or we'll come to that, how do we categorize the keywords. So more on the purchase intent or the information intent. We can try Facebook, we can try YouTube, we can try Wikipedia, uh, we can try forums, we can try all other question and answer platforms like Quora and Reddit. uh, these two which I have just added, it's a very important, and it's a strategy thing that we can read out. For a SaaS company, they should be looking at the support queries that they get. Now looking at the support queries, you'll get a lot of queries wherein they are asking for features, right? Now for a specifically for a SaaS, the feature specific keywords are the best keywords because they convert well. You should hear your inbound support sales calls because there are a lot of questions which are coming. A lot of people are asking questions, right? Those questions, those feedbacks are really important because they have the things which people are asking. That's what people would be looking when they're searching in Google. These are the search terms, right? So they are really really important and helps in identifying really good keywords, tagged aligned with the business goals, right? Now, the last important thing is, so once we are making the whole seed list, right, we need to populate as much data as possible from the entire the options that I just mentioned, including if there is certain feature, certain USP with the solution, with the SaaS solution, which is like a totally unique, we can add that as a suffix or addition to our keyword. Basically that helps in creating a unique keyword also. That keyword may or may not be having a search volume, but yes, if somebody is looking for that keyword or that feature specifically, and that's a USP, you're going to get real good conversion. So this basically is a strategy thing that what exactly we need to do. Moving forward, I will try and explain what exactly we need to do once we have the seed list populated using all these options, right? So whether it's brainstorming, competition, Google data or non-Google data, or paid tools, free tools, forums, there can be one more option we can do. For example, if a SaaS company or SaaS product has a a community, right? In those community, people will be asking a lot of questions, right? And there can be open source communities where people will be asking a lot of questions. We can traverse those questions and come up with, we'll get lot many feedback and recommendations and queries within those communities, where that can help us identifying new keywords as well. Yeah, can we move on? So let's look at the important pillars of keyword research. Now we talked about what all we need to do to identify keywords, what all we need to do in terms of uh, planning the keyword research, what exactly we need to do once we have identified the keyword, and then we need to move in a planned and phased manner. So these are the three important pillars that we should look at. First and foremost, the most important thing is keywords intent. Now what is the intent? And I've been talking more about informational keywords, navigational keywords, uh, you know decision making or comparison keywords, and then purchase or buying or bottom of the funnel keywords, right? So there are a lot of terms which people use, and I'll try and explain most of the terms, but whichever term is convenient to us, I think we can pick. There's no rule behind this. It's up to our convenience, right? If we like awareness, navigation, uh, decision making, or at the end buying, we can use that. There is another thing called AIDA, like awareness, idea, desire, action, right? So let's look at these options. Search for information, right? So that's the informational keyword. So the idea here is to basically develop a funnel, right? We need to understand that any SaaS company should work in a in a structured fashion, right? So what are the goals, right? What are the business goals? Are we looking at short-term goals? Are we looking at long-term goals? Now the short-term goals are like, hey, we need a traffic. We need the traffic to be, converted. Uh, this traffic needs to be converted in a very short span of time, right? So what can we do? There is a long-term strategy also, right? So based on the keywords, based on the keywords attribute, we need to set up our short-term and long-term goals and set up our decision making funnel, buyer decision making funnel, right? So so we look at these and try and understand in terms of the example, the each keyword, basically explain, gives us an idea, like, what exactly is the intent behind the search. For example, somebody if some searching road mapping software, uh, the intent could be information, intent could be buying, intent is not clear, but more or less it's going towards information, right? There could be another example, like where it's going toward exact, but again it's navigation, because they're searching for a product or a brand which provides this. The buying intent is still not clear. Road mapping tool with Jira integration, right? So they're looking for exploring, navigating, right? And then the third option is, once they've identified, or they know they want to, evaluate any product management or project management tool which provides the best road mapping tool. So they basically use this option, this keyword, and they want, the audience wants, the user wants to compare and wants to make a decision. And similarly, once price, trial, they are straight away towards the decision making or action item. Based on this, the funnel simply, so we'll categorize anything which is going towards the information is top of the funnel. Anything which is still in between, right? Decision making, consideration, ideating, all this becomes middle of the funnel. But where the action is, like the intent is straight away clear, right? That becomes bottom of the funnel keyword. Now, in several keywords, there will be an issue like, hey, I'm not able to decide what exactly is the intent, right? What exactly is the intent? Intent is not clear. Those keywords, I think we can, separate them out and try and see what sort of a traffic is coming and what exactly is happening, on the site, whether those users are converting. And then we need to evaluate further, right? That, okay, how easy it is to rank for those keywords. Based on these things, basically we decide on uh, the intent of a keyword, right? Yeah, but next screen, please. Okay, now that's what I mentioned, like, based on the research that we do, and we identify, okay, these are the intents and these are the set of keywords that we have. Then we decide, okay, this is how I'm going to target my keywords based on our short-term and long-term strategy. Ideally, we should be targeting the keywords at the bottom of the funnel, because the idea is to rank on these keywords depending on whether the volume is decent enough, the keyword difficulty is low enough to be, there's not too much competition around for those keywords. I think that's the best way to begin, right, for any new website, so that in a span of, let's say, 3 to 9 months, depends on how much work we put in, it's possible to rank for those keywords, right? So the first thing for any SaaS business is to initiate and target buying keywords, or the action keywords, or the the buying intent keywords. Gradually, once the authority of the site is developing, right, website is getting a lot of authority in terms of brand mentions, in terms of link, and the content is getting indexed, and those, the earlier keywords are already ranking, we should be targeting the comparison and feature keywords. And gradually, the last step, which is to dominate the market, we should, I mean, obviously this requires a lot of effort, time, and then you basically you're trying to dominate the industry by ranking on these keywords, because they are going to be extremely broad and too competitive. But for that, the site has to have the authority. But this clarity comes only if we have done the keyword research with the plan, right? That plan is extremely important. So that's the way to go forward. right? Okay. The second pillar, extremely important these days because Google is changing the scenario, changing the UI, UX, the way it presents the SERP results. That's extremely important that, how do we plan our keywords and what exactly we are going to achieve with them, right? So let's see what exactly is the SERP intent is basically all about. Now, intent is basically, device or based on the keyword type. Google is presenting a lot of data now. It's not only the search results, organic search results that are coming. I mean, if people recall, the ad used to come on the right hand side. Now the ad has gone on top, right? Because Google figured out, hey, the top rank, on the left, whichever is number one, getting the most CTR value, right? So they moved from right to the left and on top now. So the ads are getting the most number of clicks. So based on that, they have introduced knowledge panels, knowledge graphs. People also ask feature snippets, videos, shopping box, so and so forth. So based on this, intent, we need to plan our keywords. For example, if the keywords are directly informational, how be an graph. People also ask feature snippets, right? So what can we do, right? So that's how we need to map our keywords. Based on that, we need to map our keywords so that we are able to target these intents, right? Similarly, if the the keywords that we have identified are navigational in nature, the feature specific or a brand specific, then you know knowledge panel, people also ask, and similarly, you get other options. Now, consideration, comparative, similar, straight away it comes to best or top. That's when somebody adds a best, in front of best road mapping tool or top road mapping. Obviously, the intent is to compare, right? So people also asked, sometimes video will also appear, sometimes feature snippet will also appear. So what we need to do to be present in those SERP intent by Google, that's very important. So we need to basically map our keywords to these SERP intent by Google. Okay. The last and the most important aspect of the pillar of keyword research is mapping the keywords.
He will accept it. Okay.
Yeah.
Please. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. The last important thing is the pillar of this keyword mapping is with content. Now, what we need to do when we are mapping. So we have identified, okay, we are going to target our bottom of the funnel keywords, right? So what exactly needs to be done? We definitely need to develop a content plan for that. So we need to ensure, yeah. So content should always be relevant to the targeted keyword. Now, when we say relevant to targeted keyword, it means that, how do we ensure that content is relevant? Is it answering the search query completely? No, if it's not answering the search query completely, which means the search query is something that we refer as a keyword, right? So keyword in itself is a query, right? So if somebody is searching for a search query in Google, right, and then this page is coming on top or on anywhere in the SERP, and user is landing on that page, if the user is not going to get the answer what he or she was looking at or looking for, then there will be a bounce rate, right? So basically the page has to give the answer completely. Is it providing any value to the target audience, right? So value in terms of not only the answer but and a complete authoritative answer to that, right? Is it relevant to what people are searching, and is it answering all the questions that can help them make a decision? Yeah. So basically that page has to be complete in nature, right? So it should not be that same page is giving half of the stuff and then the user has to move on to the second page to take a different approach. So the page in itself should be complete enough and relevant to the target keyword. That's an extremely important stuff. So based on these three pillars, we need to understand that, okay, the relevancy of the keyword vis-a-vis content, the SERP intent, and the keyword intent. These three are major aspects. So now if we start from this first, the way when we started, I mean the point from where it started, uh, we talked about, what is broad, what is exact, and you know what exactly is information, how do we categorize based on the search intent, and then we talked about these pillars, right? So the idea here is to develop and find a huge list of data, keywords data, search terms data, that is called seed list of keywords, right? Once we have that seed list of keywords, we need to start working on that particular seed list, right? So the next step is, can we move? Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So brainstorming is the most important, step that we should do. Brainstorming, I've given the examples that we can do. We can perform to identify, really unique keywords. We can apply paid tools, we can use free tools, we can, search our data, search from the other places like forums and other places to identify the features, the specific terms that people are looking for, right? And based on those search terms, we can develop our list of seed keywords. Now, once we have identified these seed keywords, right, we need to use the tools to expand those keywords. Now, what are we doing when we're expanding? We are basically trying to elaborate, or to expand those broad into more targeted, more bottom of the funnel, middle of the funnel, keywords. We are trying to get more and more keywords in that process of expansion. Now, once we have done that, the pillar which is very important, right? Keyword mapping with the page, with the content, right? So what are we going to map, right? We need to set a set of, we need to create a group of keywords which can be mapped to a page, right? We can't map a two or one or two, or maybe various groups to a page, right? That will create too much of clutter. We need to identify a parent keyword, a set of, related synonym and maybe LSI, versions of that keyword, and then target them to a page. The idea here is to, when we say it should be relevant, the keyword should be relevant to the content, which clearly suggests that we need to create a group which is really targeted and unique to that content, right? So we need to start grouping the keywords, right? So grouping is an extremely important process. Now, what grouping does is it helps you to visualize your site, right? It helps you to identify, okay, plan your content, right? Plan your content clustering, right? Okay, this group of keywords I can target on a blog. Okay, this group of keywords, maybe, it's best suited for a page, or maybe, I can have a, a, a big blog article where I can, cover, I mean, add videos, I can infographics, and a lot of stuff can be added. And that's how the grouping helps. So grouping is an important aspect. The last step is, it's basically divided in two parts. Now, wherein we have identified the keywords, we have identified the groups, and based on this particular data, what we are going to do is, we're going to put that data inside a template and see and identify that, okay, which is the best keyword, because we want to identify a keyword which is low on keyword difficulty, has decent search volume. Now, decent search volume depends on the industry. You are doing a keyword research. If your industry is very niche, the volume, you can't expect a huge volume for your keywords, right? Even if a 10 or 20 volume uh, monthly is like good, right? Depends on the niche. I've seen a lot of sites where the keyword volume is 20, search volume is 20 or 30, right? And that keyword is converting well, right? But it depends, right? What is the keyword difficulty and what is the competition that, for that website to rank for that keyword. Based on all these elements, we need to prioritize, right? Whether we need to pick this set of keyword, we need to pick this set of keywords, right? And once we have created that subset, we just need to map them to content, right? So this particular process is something that, you know, brainstorming, expansion, grouping, prioritizing, and then mapping. So prioritizing and mapping I've kept as the fourth option. Okay, can I share my sheet? Padmaja?
Yeah, definitely you can, Pushkar. Do you want to try your screen share, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I was having, but yeah, let me try.
Yeah, you can try. If that works, if it doesn't work, I can do that.
Yeah, let me try. Is the sheet visible? No?
Yeah, it's visible.
Is it visible? Okay. Now, this is a template that basically will help, you know, categorizing, grouping, uh, you know, not only grouping, but also filtering and selecting the keywords, right? So what we need to do is, let's say we have created a list of seed keywords, right? Once we have that list of seed keywords, we just need to create and add those keywords and start expanding them in using a tool, free tool or a paid tool, right? So this is what we are going to get, right? So I've taken an example. So this is not the real data. It's just to explain how exactly just to populate this sheet, right? So it's not the real data. So once we get keyword search volume, keyword difficulty, we just need to add this here, right? And just a minute. Let me move it here. Start categorizing them, right? So let's see if we can categorize it. And keyword category can be free keyword generator. Once we do this, now this template will help us to, categorize these. And once this category, we can create, as many categories we want to, create. And once we do that, we'll have a grouping created. Now this grouping will help us to filter keywords further. But before that, we need to start working on this. So this is a time taking process because depends on the site, depends on the, the competition, depends on the type of keywords that we are working on. So based on this, we need to do a lot of grouping. So as I said, keyword research is not a one-time activity at the beginning, right? So this is something, to give an example, like the earlier the keyword research used to be like, okay, job vacancy related stuff. Okay, people were searching for job vacancy in job or something like that. But suddenly, due to pandemic, the work from home thing, kicked in, and now people are looking for work from home kind of a, keywords, right? So, but if the that site didn't covered those keywords, right, then they have to continuously, go back to the drawing boards and then, figure out new keywords and start, working on those new keywords. So keyword research is a process which keeps on going. So one should always revisit the keywords, the keyword structure every 6 months, every 6 to 8 months, right? This auto categorization can also be, manually overridden by, if you find that, okay, this keyword is not really going with this, we can easily, override this. Now, once this keyword grouping is completed, we just need to go to this template, this particular tab, and add all the selected, keywords from that group. Now, once we do that, the idea here is to select and make a decision, right? It's not filtering, but it's a decision making, step. Now, what we need to do is we need to add the volume data here. Based on the volume data, we can set a threshold. Okay, I want to target keyword having a volume at least like 20 a month or 30 a month, right? So based on that, we can set a filter here, so which will give us a score, right? So this is something which can be customized and can be, industry to industry or website to website. It or require with respect to the requirement, it can change. Based on this particular criteria, we can set a volume score, and based on that, we have just added something like, okay, based on this criteria, whether this particular website has the this particular keyword has the required volume or not. If the required volume is there, obviously the score will be yes. If the required volume is not there, the volume will the score will be no. But this is not the deciding factor. The deciding factor is also the next element, which is difficulty, because we also want to ensure, okay, difficulty has to be low. We want to rank for those keywords on a very short in a very short span. So based on that, we set the difficulty criteria also, that okay, the in general less than 30 is easier to rank, or if we put a little effort, we can easily rank for those keywords, right? 20 to 30 is manageable. So if we apply that criteria here, I mean, don't look at the data is really temporary or makeshift. Just to apply to this template, the data has been added. So once we add the difficulty criteria, we get a difficulty score. So obviously 91 is difficulty score is high, so it says no. And wherever it is like 10, 20, right, it says yes. So now we have two scores. One is volume score, and one is difficulty score. Now we have got two yes, right? The third is very important. Why it is important? Because CPC rate is the rate that we get from Google. So basically this gives us an idea that, okay, if a keyword is a competitive keyword where a lot of people are bidding for it, which means it's a transactional keyword, action keyword. Not every time it is going to happen, but yes, we can set up a criteria for selection that, okay, we'll consider you. I mean, we should consider CPC rate as well. So anything which is going beyond 30, 20, right? We can look at the industry and see like what is the threshold level, whether the average CP score are 20 or 30, and if anything is going beyond that, obviously those are really competitive keywords, and we should definitely consider them. So based on the CPC rates, a score will be obviously created for that. And the final score is basically that, okay, if the volume score is yes, difficulty score is yes, CPC score is yes, definitely that keyword is really worthy for bottom of the funnel, or for targeting that keyword as that something that can be easily targeted and can be used to create a relevant content to be ranked in a very short span of time. The idea here is to do this activity for not only for bottom of the funnel, middle of the funnel, top of the funnel. This can be done to for all categories of keyword. So basically this whole template, which I think will our team will be sharing as well, will help to perform so right from the beginning, creating a seed list. Using that seed list, we can create uh, more broader a list of keywords which can be expanded into a more informational or transactional or condition or basically decision making stuff. Thereafter, once we have that data, we can put it into this template and start working on it. So I've just given a complete picture of how exactly keyword research is done, right? So I hope this was helpful, right, Padmaja?
Yep. Thank you so much, Pushkar. It was really informative, and thank you so much for actually creating the template as well and kind of walking us through the entire template. We are now probably going to the question and answer session. We have got 2 or 3 questions. I'm going to ask the first question here. My question is, you clearly said, like, first let's target the bottom of the funnel keywords, and then the middle of the funnel, and then let's go to the top of the funnel.
Yep.
Is there any criterion when we should move, when we should add more keywords to our keyword strategy in terms of, hey, we are targeting bottom of the funnel keywords, for 3 months and then we move on? Or is it like till we reach the first page of, if we are ranking like 30s and 40s, we move to the first page and then we start adding more keywords. Is there any time frame there at all?
See, the idea is basically that it depends on the business to business in terms of the business goals, right? So if the goals are like very short term, definitely the best keywords to go for is the bottom of the funnel keywords, right? But let's say obviously bottom of the funnel keywords are the go-to keywords, but parallelly the second option can be initiated, right? It's not mandatory that okay, once you do that you wait for it, right? You can parallelly start the other also, right? But it depends on how much effort, how much resources you have to put in effort for the second category of keywords. But the best thing is the in terms of time span, obviously the bottom of the funnel keywords will take, let's say, 3 to 9 months, depends on the resource and the overall infrastructure of the team, that how exactly they are going to work on it. But on a parallel way, the middle of the funnel keyword can be initiated, but it depends on entirely on the authority of the website, how fast the website is getting the authority. It depends on the overall SEO process of the organization, what exactly they're doing in terms of building the authority of the site, right? So if they're doing it really fast, I think they can compete and work on the middle of the funnel keyword also. But definitely the third range, which is like top of the funnel, where the dominance is in is the something that anybody wants to target. Obviously, it requires a lot of authority, which I don't think can be achieved in a span of 3 to 6 months or a year, right? It needs more than that. I hope it answers the question.
Yes, it does. I have one more question here, saying, can you explain what is CPC rate? I think it's somebody who is beginning on
Okay.
starting for CPC.
So CPC rate, if somebody is planning to do a paid campaign in Google text ads, right? So when we search anything, when we go to Google and type some search keyword, right, and then we see a search results, sometimes we see sponsored ads or sponsored textual ads. Those ads basically are part of Google search ad process. So if an advertiser needs to present their listing in those search results, they have to target those keywords. So they go to Google ad and start bidding for those keywords, and they bid that okay, for each click I will pay, let's say, $5, $10, $30, depends on the bidding, right? Who all are bidding, so who all are competition. If there are 5 competitions, somebody is bidding 5, somebody is bidding 10, depends on the bidding value. The position keeps on changing, and that's how your ad also appears. Sometimes you may appear on top, sometimes in between, and at the bottom, depends on the bidding value, right? So CPC rate is the cost per click rate.
Okay. Thanks, Pushkar, for that. I have one more question here saying, what is the difference between search and SERP intent? I know you've answered this
Sure.
already, but if you can elaborate.
Yeah. So search intent is something like, okay, if I go and type a search term like, birthday cake. Now the birthday cake is the intent could be anything, right? Intent could be informational. The intent could be, I want to know the recipe also. Intent could be, I want to have the images, I want to see a video. It could be anything, right? The intent is not clear, but the moment I add any suffix or prefix, I'm trying to clear the intent. So it could be, order birthday cake, or birthday cake which is available next day in Bangalore, right? So that clearly tells the intent, okay, this guy needs to order a cake and wants to be delivered next day. So the intent in terms of search is very clear that, okay, this is the search intent of the user. The intent is to buy, or intent is to get information. The intent is to navigate. Navigate is something wherein person is looking to find a brand, right? So best cake brands or best cake company in Bangalore, right? So it's location specific. Sometimes it can be geographic location specific. The idea here is to identify the user intent. So based on keyword research, we have to divide and segregate those keywords with respect to the intent of the audience, right? So this is search intent. Now the SERP intent is something which is part of Google rather than the audience, right? So Google, what it is doing to improve the overall UI UX experience, what Google is doing is trying to provide lot of options on a on its Google search page, which provides, for example, knowledge graph, knowledge search rich snippets. Sometimes they give people also ask when somebody is putting a question, right? It also say people also ask this, right? You are asking this question, but people are also asking this. So it's trying to give value addition to the SERP intent, right? The intent is to give more value addition, more user experience. If somebody is searching for best veterinarian near me, right? So it will definitely show a map, right? So those are the SERP intent components given by the Google. I hope it answers the question.
Yeah, it definitely does. Thanks, Pushkar. One more question is, can we use a completely new keyword, right? And then how can we be sure that we can rank for it? So if we are having X number of keywords in the strategy and we introduce a completely new keyword just because we feel that it could, help us, how can we put it in the strategy?
Completely new keyword is like, okay, we know about the keyword, or do people know about this keyword also, right? It's the question that we need to balance, find a balance in between, right? Is it something that, people would be searching for or not, right? If there is no search volume for it, if there is no, mention of that particular phrase, right? So it's a phrase, combination of more than 1 or 2 or 3 words, right? So if people are not searching for it, it's a new thing which you yourself are thinking about it. I don't think it's prudent enough to use that keyword.
Okay, got it. So even if we want to go for a new set of keywords, again, I think what you're saying is do the due diligence and do the keyword strategy and make sure, follow the steps again from the top.
Yes.
Okay. Got it. There are a couple more questions, but I think we are almost towards the end of our webinar. What we are going to do is put all these questions as well as the additional questions, from the audience onto our webinar page, so you can actually see all the questions there. The other thing is I've just sent a link to our survey in the chat here. I think one question has been asked that, we'll get the recording. I think Shraddha Tiwari has asked, we'll get the recording of this call. Yes, it is already live on Facebook, and you will find the recording of this call on our First Principles webinar page as well. I've just sent a form. It's just a 30-second survey. Once you fill up the survey, after that, we'll send you the templates by email. I think this is one of the things we were going to send. The template that Pushkar showed here will be sent to whoever completes the form, and whoever requests for it will send it to their mail. Yeah, need voice recording? Yes, definitely. The complete voice recording will be there along the entire voice recording on email. No, not possible, but we'll definitely send you the link, the Facebook link, that you can watch live, or you can definitely, we'll send you the link of the webinar page where you can go. It'll be on YouTube as well, so you can actually watch it on YouTube. And if you fill up the survey, we'll send you the template that Pushkar showed us. That's a First Principles, kind of blueprint survey. So it's our template that we have come up with, so we can send that. I think that's the questions. So thank you so much. You can also write to us at hello@firstprinciples.io if you have any more queries, and we'll definitely endeavor to answer all those as well. Thanks for taking the time to join the webinar, and all of you have a very good day ahead. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks a lot, Pushkar, for this session.
Thank
Totally
you.
appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks all. Bye-bye now.